Hi, this is Scott with the Avalanche Center with your weekend update for February 26th. It's Friday evening. And just a gentle reminder, this product is not meant to replace the daily avalanche forecast. So please check back in the morning to check the forecast hot off the press to help you out with your trip planning and help you make good decisions. So we're going to take a quick look at the past, then look at the present, what it's doing today, and give you a look at the crystal ball into the future for the weekend and what's coming up early next week. So first, some snowfall stats from basically the past month, because it's been a pretty exciting month. So we had a huge 4-day storm at the end of January, January 27th, 20th, 29th, 2 to 4 inches of water throughout the forecast area. Then a little bit of a 3-day break. Really, that's the last true break that we had from loading since that big storm. 5 days straight with snowfall following that little break. Then 4 days, if you remember, of a really strong to extreme northwest wind event that continued loading slopes, even though it wasn't snowing. And then 15 days straight with snowfall. And that's not over the entire forecast area, but for sure the wetter parts of the area have had some measurable snowfall each of the past 15 days, some days more than others. So it all adds up to 28 of the past 31 days where we've had some loading from snow or wind. So the snowpack hasn't gotten a breather basically in a month. So on the stability scale, we can look at it as kind of this balancing act between stable and unstable. And it was pegged when we had that big storm where there were no questions. It was obviously unstable back on January 28th and 29th. And then over the past week, it's been kind of in limbo where we're teetering on the edge, going back and forth between stable and unstable. And it all depends on the slope that you're on, where there's some slopes you can trigger and some that you can't. Unfortunately, a tragic accident on February 19th, a week ago today, where a snowmobiler was killed in the Smiley Creek drainage, 9,100 feet south facing slope where the avalanche crown was. You can see his track there, and it was one of 25 fatalities in the United States in February. So it's been a kind of an unprecedented bad month for avalanche fatalities. And that accident report is available now on our website. If you go to the accidents tab, you'll be able to find the full report that we issued. The next day, Chris and Ben were over in the Beaver Creek drainage and saw a similar slide, smaller but similar, again on a south aspect, so a persistent slab, failing at upper elevations on a sunny aspect. And then a couple days later, I was over in the northern boulders. So this is just north of Galena Lodge, just east of Galena Summit, and a couple more natural persistent slab avalanches. These released during a wind event, either Monday night or Tuesday. And then the day after that, Chris was looking around in the northern Sawtooth and saw a couple more, one here on a northeast facing slope in wind loaded kind of upper middle elevation, more upper terrain around Hanson Lakes. And then one up at 9,400 feet up around in the head of the Crooked Creek drainage, again in the northern Sawtooth Mountains. And these are also persistent slabs, also failing in wind loaded areas, probably a result of that same wind event. Hard to say exactly when they failed. So we have these mid-pack weak layers that these slides are failing on, where it's anywhere from 2 to 4 feet deep, depending on where you are in the northern 3 zones, maybe a little shallower than that around the Wood River Valley. And this is from a snow pit that Ethan dug up in Gladiator Creek near those Western Home slides, same general area, but a multiple number of bad interfaces and kind of crust facet planes on the sunnier slopes. And they're a lot more subtle on the northerly aspects, but they're definitely still there. So we have, here's looking at around Dollarhide Summit. So down in the Wood River Valley zone, it's about 1.5 to 2 feet deep on the more southerly aspect. That's a picture on the right, the snow pit on the right. And it's pretty obvious there. And then you look on the picture on the left and it doesn't even show up on a northeast aspect at 8,000 feet. So there are definitely differences between the character of that weak layer on the shady aspects versus a sunny. We're more concerned about it on the sunnier aspects, but it is still a concern. It's something worth considering on the more shady aspects, because if you do trigger an avalanche that involves that layer, it's going to be really big. we're not out of the woods yet. They're getting stronger, the middle of the snowpack is, but it's still concerning to us. So if you look at the recent danger levels, it's been kind of wobbling between moderate and considerable until this latest storm in the Galena Summit area. It's been considerable at upper elevations up in the Sawtooths, Western Smokies, and then moderate in the Wood River Valley and Banner Summit areas. The Wood River Valley zone just hasn't gotten as much snow over the past week, and the Banner Summit area has a little bit better snowpack, stronger and deeper, basically. So the weak layers aren't quite as bad, and it's just not as susceptible to wind loading as the other zones. So we'll look at a video Ethan made a couple days ago.
So whatever you're finding at or near the surface could be a potential new weak layer that we're going to have to deal with. In this location, or actually throughout my tour, I've found a rain crust that went up to about 8,500 feet, as well as two sun crusts that are in the upper 15 centimeters or 15 to 20 centimeters of the snowpack right here. Particularly concerning is kind of this weak snow that I've found between these two crusts, whether it's a rain crust on the top or just a melt freeze crust from the sun. There's also that second melt freeze crust you can see right here. I think that this will not behave nicely if it gets a substantial load in the coming days. So whatever you're finding at or near the surface.
So the moral of the story is it's kind of messy. We have this series of crusts and facets and potential near surface weak layers, especially on the sunnier aspects, but some of them more temperature crusts and or rain crusts that are on a variety of aspects, especially at middle elevations. They're incredibly variable. That's what the big take home point is that we've seen from our observations and that of local professionals in the public, is that you can move 20 feet and have these weak layers disappear or the crust disappear. So you may see one, you may see two, you may see three. It's going to be tough to determine if there are any patterns on what aspects or what elevations are more dangerous. So the recent storm that's loading things up now that'll make us have to worry about those near surface weak layers. As of this evening, about 5 p.m., we had 10 to 16 inches in the Banner Summit, Sawtooth, and Western Smoky zone or mountain ranges areas. It's definitely favoring the western and northern mountains. 5 to 8 inches in the Soldiers, and then 5 to 8 inches around Galena Summit. We're a little unsure in the White Clouds. It could be a little more than that. Sometimes they do better with this kind of cold westerly flow, remains to be seen. And then 2 to 4 inches in the mountains surrounding Highway 75 from Bellevue to Ketchum and in the Cary. So in the Wood River, Lower Wood River and Little Wood River basins. And then what we're expecting tonight and tomorrow, another 2 to 6 in the Banner Summit, Sawtooths and Western Smokies, 1 to 3 in the Soldiers and Galena Summit area, Galena Summit and Eastern Mountain Zone, and then kind of 0 or a trace to 1 inch in the mountains from Ketchum to Bellevue and Cary in that area. So what's it all mean? Well, today it was a mixture of high, considerable, and low, or high at upper elevations. This is the Galena Summit zone, similar in the Sawtooths, not quite as dangerous in the Banner Summit zone up north and the Wood River Valley zone down south. It was considerable at upper elevations. If we look at the danger and problems going forward, I was up in Baker Creek today and saw some definite new snow problems. New snow meaning wind slabs near ridge lines, dry loose slides, and some soft cornice that was building. Saw one natural avalanche that was fairly sizable up near the headwaters of Baker Creek, released in alpine terrain just below a ridge line. So kind of what you'd expect when you get 6, 8, 10 inches of really low density new snow with some moderate wind speeds. These slides will be larger and more widespread where more snow fell. Pretty simple equation. So in the Sawtooths, Western Smokies, and Banner Summit area, and there might be enough snow there that we bring those near surface persistent weak layers, those crusts and facets that Ethan was talking about. They may come into play in more sheltered terrain. It remains to be seen whether it's enough snow that it'll overload those. But for sure, it'll be a bigger problem where the wind's been blowing. So exposed ridge lines, especially at upper elevations. And we may also, the new snow is going to stress those mid-pack weak layers. It remains to be seen if it's enough of a new snow load that we have natural avalanches or really bump up the chances of being able to trigger those deeper mid-pack layers, which were 2 to 4 feet deep before this last storm. At the very least, there's a chance of triggering these with smaller slides running down from above. So any small loose snow avalanche or wind slabs you trigger, there's a chance they could step down. So have the snowpack pull out on those deeper weak layers and cause a much larger, more dangerous avalanche. But it's tough to say. We have seen that every significant snowfall that we've had in the past month has created some activity on these deeper weak layers. So the trend is that it will do that on some slopes, not all slopes, but some slopes. And really no significant change in the Wood River Valley Mountains, just not enough of a new snow load to really change the equation very much. So one special kind of shout out or announcement is over at Moores Creek Summit. Chago Rodriguez, who runs Avalanche Science and Education operation over there, sent us this photo. He was remote triggering slides all over the place today from safe spots at a variety of aspects and elevations. So if you're headed over to Moores Creek Summit tomorrow, Saturday or Sunday, expect to find some really sketchy conditions, especially if it snows more tonight and tomorrow over there. So what to expect tomorrow? It's complicated. We're going to see another cold day with some kind of scattered / intermittent snow showers, not a lot of water, but another 2 to 6 inches in the wetter places, 1 to 3 for the bulk of the forecast area. So I'd expect to see a lot of kind of small to medium to large sized avalanches, D1 to D2, or D1's relatively not consequential and a D2 is big enough to bury you. So they're going to be focused on places where it's windy. So upper elevations and some exposed middle elevation ridge lines. We may see those upper snowpack weak layers become activated. That remains to be seen. And we may or may not see natural or human triggered activity on those mid-pack weak layers, but I definitely don't trust those. Any smaller slide that you trigger in upper elevation could come down into that upper middle elevation transition where those mid-pack layers are especially well developed and trigger a much larger avalanche. So elevated danger this weekend. And then coming into Sunday and the week ahead, we're looking at a warming and clearing trend Sunday, a little shot of snow and wind Monday night, and then kind of a gradual warming with clear to partly cloudy skies from Tuesday on. So we'll see a really gradual decrease in the danger, but it's not going to be open season. It's not like March where it snowed 8 inches and you give it a day and then it's okay, send it. We're not there yet. The snowpack really needs an extended breather for the layers to, just adjust to the never-ending load that they've had from the past month. So, don't expect to go ski those steep lines that you've been looking to ride or ski all year. It's probably not gonna happen in the next few days, or it definitely wouldn't be a good idea to be doing that in the next few days. We need a little bit more time. So check the forecast every day at 7:30 a.m. You can sign up to have it emailed to you. If you don't know where that is, on the website at sawtoothavalanche.com. At the bottom of every page on the website, you just type your email address in and you'll be added to the email list. Observations, you can either text them to us at that number, send us a picture. Especially if you see an avalanche or trigger an avalanche, let us know what you're seeing. Tell us if it was natural or human triggered and where you were. That's huge information for us. Tag us on social media if you're already putting it out. You can email us that address or the observation form at the bottom of every page on the website, bottom left. You can just click that button. So sawtoothavalanche.com and click the blue button, submit observation. That'll give you a nice simple form you can fill out that you can also add pictures to. And most importantly, go have fun out there. There's a lot of fresh snow. I can tell you from firsthand experience, it's a really good riding and skiing conditions, but be careful, make appropriate decisions that match the avalanche danger. Thanks.